Q&A until we switch.
Tell us where you're from.
Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
Each of you.
Yeah.
All right, we should really organize ourselves.
Yeah, we can organize
Stand in the circle, not in the middle.
I'm from Kansas.
You're
at my home.
And where you're from and how you got
To the space.
into this.
Oh, that is a good question. I got into this space because I kept telling everybody I need a new job. I want to work from home.
Amen
And
to
I
that.
did that. I kept saying it, and then one day, and then I gave up. You know how you give up? I gave up. I'm like, I'm just going to drive, 2 hours every day to work. I'm just going to be happy with it. I started doing books on tape. You know what I mean? I decided I'm going to make it productive while I do it. And then in January, I got a call from Jonathan. He goes, I've got a position for you. He goes, are you interested? I said, yes.
Kind of what happens when you're out looking for a boyfriend too,
Exactly.
right?
It just sneaks right up behind you.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I am from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we're headquartered in South Dakota, so I'm from around there. I found out about this though because one of my friends from college watched a documentary with John in it, emailed him, was like, can I come work there for the summer? He said yes. She worked there for the summer. At that point, I was working at the National Academy of Sciences on their Resilient America program, which is all about adapting to climate change, which I really, really liked, but it was all work from home, which I didn't like, and I wanted to be with people and I wanted to be outside, so I thought this was an awesome next step, and it's been the best thing ever. So I started in June, and I've had a blast.
I'm Adam Tess. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, and I graduated college and I was searching. I was a wildlife major, and when you're a wildlife major, you go to one place to look for jobs. So I went to the Texas A&M job board, and I'm looking through, and I'm like, oh, regenerative agriculture? I'll get that one. So I applied and I got it. And yeah, so spend the rest of the summer just sleeping in a minivan,
Nice.
Pretty fun.
Down by the river.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I also found this job on the Texas A&M job board. I typed in agroecology, and this was the only thing that came up, and it looked pretty awesome. So yeah, I drove out to South Dakota in March, and I've been here ever since, and I've also had a blast.
Hi, I'm Jay. I did not find this job on the Texas A&M board. I was actually emailed through school because I was going for two degrees at South Dakota State for natural resource and agriculture, general agriculture. And I got an email from one of my professors saying that there was a job position open. And I was like, well, I'll try it. I wanted to mix both worlds with natural resources and with my background in agriculture, and I applied for the job. There's a couple winters I took off, but this is going to be my 4th or 5th year with Ecdysis, Blue Dasher. So.
I'm Cooper, and I'm from Ecdysis, South Dakota. It's a super, super small town in South Dakota, and I grew up on a farm there, went to South Dakota State University for agronomy. So that's how I know Jay. We were college friends, and he actually kind of got me started with the Blue Dasher farms, and I went up to Watertown and worked for the NRCS for a year. Then he got to listen to me complain about how paperwork sucked and I didn't want to do it any longer. And so he's like, come work at Blue Dasher. And I'm like, that's a hell of a lot more interesting than sitting at a desk and learning programs. So I was like, travel around the U.S. and learn about regenerative agriculture sounds pretty dang cool. So started in, I don't know, beginning of summer, so here I am. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Tia. I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. I was going pre-med, and then I want to help people, and I wanted to save lives. And then kind of in the middle of it, I was like, oh my god, medicine. I told my advisor I want to study bugs. And she was like, what's wrong with you? You're crazy. And I told my grandma that, and she's like, oh, we happen to know an absolutely insane entomologist. You should go meet him in South Dakota. And so I did. I went and I lived in his basement for a summer, and it was the wildest summer. And then I just kind of stayed. So I've been here about 4 years too. I think 4 or 5. Jay and I started about the same time.
So what was the deal with your grandmother? How come she knew Jonathan?
John is like a friend of the family, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's like a long.
Explain your research.
My research.
Yeah.
So which part?
Fair enough.
Oh, okay. My master's that I'm doing under John is I'm studying probiotics for honeybees. So I've spent 2 years now feeding them little probiotic packets and measuring their kind of health response, see how it's going.
So you are practicing medicine, just a matter of fact.
Yeah, I'm sort of practicing bee medicine. So we'll see. I don't have fun results yet, but yeah.
What's some of your preliminaries you're thinking? What's your gut telling you?
My gut.
Yeah.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah. What does my gut tell me? I have been studying bees for maybe 3 or 4 years now, and the results are always so chaotic and hard to interpret. The bees are always giving me mixed results, and the probiotic study was another one of those. I've been running lipid tests on them and trying to see among the treatment group which group has higher lipid levels, because that's usually a good way, at least for most livestock, to measure kind of body health and nutritional stores. And so far I've found that some of the bees that I fed like a sauerkraut mixture to actually had higher lipid stores, which is really interesting because my advisor also laughed at that. He was like, "What are you gonna give them bratwurst next?" Like I was giving them like a sauerkraut lactobacillus like mixture, and so we'll see if we end up having anything fun to show for that. But it's promising. There's hope for it, I think, especially after Gail mentioned that glyphosate is an antibiotic. And so this is really closely tied to our plant community, which is in turn really closely tied to our pollinators. So their gut microbiome is dictated by what we put on the ground.
My name's Mia. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I just graduated from my undergrad this spring with degrees in biology and environmental studies. That's kind of what I was passionate about my whole life. And so I was looking at jobs and applying to a whole bunch of stuff this spring. And was looking at jobs in definitely like some bigger name places and in some maybe more exotic locations in South Dakota. But nothing that I was looking at seemed like it was as relevant and as like directly connected to kind of boots in the ground research and having a real impact as what I saw at Ecdysis. And I remember just reading through kind of their yearly pamphlet of the research they were doing and just feeling my heart beat faster. I was so excited about the kind of stuff they were looking at. So I emailed John and was like, "Hey, can I work for you?" And yeah, now I'm here, and it's been a wild summer.
Hey, my name's Will. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I started at Ecdysis because, like everybody else in the pandemic, I had to go home from college, and I didn't want to stay with my parents for the next 8 months. And so, like every 95% of people, I went to the Texas A&M job board. I applied to like 20 jobs, and I told my sister, I was like, "Yeah, I applied to like whatever, but this is the one job I actually wanted," and I got it. And you know, the first summer was awesome. But the reason I'm back is two things. The people we work with are just an awesome group. I don't know why this job attracts cool people, but everybody just wants to do something. They were talking today, like our first speaker was talking about how when you want to do something, you know, maybe you want to let back and look, I don't know, sit back and look and kind of wait it out, I guess, and pick a best course. But sometimes when you're young, that's tough, because you know, sometimes you don't want to feel lazy. No one likes that feeling. And everybody here, we're just trying to do something, anything. And then number two, just I like good food. Yeah. And yeah, that's us. That's who we brought here. We've got another 15 people back in South Dakota.
Who are amazing also.
All amazing, all just as cool, if not cooler than each and every one.
All right, bad news. We have to leave.
All righty.
We're going to send you. I'll bring you a new group.
Keep on by.